Hope you're well. Thanks for booking again. Right, I've just started shuffling. I thought I'd turn it on because this jumped out. This is like, you've got to be patient, all right? So that's the first thing they want to say. Let me just shuffle these a little bit more. Excuse me. Right, they're saying you're on the right path. Got to give it a bit more time. Let's see. What to know about his feelings and intentions. His feelings, really. What's going to happen? Okay, so we've got Judgment jumping out straight away. That's very good. That's God, basically. 8 of Cups. 2 of Pentacles. 3 of Cups. 10 of Cups. The Devil. 2 of Wands. 3 of Pentacles. And the Star. Underneath, 3 of Wands. Excuse me. Right. What they're telling me is that you're on the right track. You're in service right now, okay? So you've been brought into service. This is when you went on your travels. When you started to move was when you were brought into service, basically. You haven't ended up at the place you're supposed to be yet, so I don't know where you are, but you're not in the right place yet. It doesn't mean that you're in the wrong place necessarily. You're in the right place for wherever you are now, but you haven't arrived at the place yet where you're going to reconnect. But when you do, then you will reconnect, it says. So, let's see. You know, we've got all this really strong energy here of him coming forward and reaching out, and you're being brought back together as well by the energies. You're at the moment, what you're going through is you're healing his energy, and you're healing that energetic connection with whatever you've been doing. So it's not a conscious thing. It's the movement itself that you've been going through, and the fact that you left where you were and you took a risk and you moved forward. That's helped heal things energetically between you. So it's just not time yet, that's all. I've also got that he's moving, so I don't know where he is exactly or where he's moving to, but I get him wanting to move, right? So there's that feeling there as well. So it's like both of you have still got this energy and movement going on, and creation as well. So you've got to keep creating. So I would say don't stand still, basically. You've got to give him more time. You can't stand still. Because that was you're not, like I say, you haven't arrived at the right place yet, basically. Let's see what these are going to say. Okay, let's have a look. Right, it also says, hang on a minute, that you haven't arrived at the truth yet. So I feel like you've got to find more self-worth somehow. It feels like you're almost there, right? You're almost there with how you need to be energetically for this to happen, but you're not quite there yet. It doesn't mean either that you will never get there, because you will get there, right? The fact that it's not time yet doesn't mean that you can do anything to speed this up either, because it will be time when it's time, right? And only God knows that. For the connection to come back in. everything you've done so far is really good, right? The movement is really good. Just because you haven't seen or heard anything from him doesn't mean that it's not going to happen either, right? Everything I've got here is about things opening up and the movement again and the truth and more negativity that has to be changed, right, around your connection with him. So his situation, right, that he's in is not quite resolved either. So I think there's something he's got to still get away from. Like he's got to set himself completely free of. It's around his own self-worth. Okay. And so that he can make a choice to move forward in a better direction, like his life, to move it forward and go for what he wants, really, and open up to go into that space where it's like what he wants exists. And he's not quite at that place where he's able to do that yet, but it's not far away. You've got to keep creating, right? It doesn't matter what you do necessarily. I still feel you've got to go to one more place on your travels. A high vibrational place, it feels like, as well, so that's good. I think, yeah. So is there another place you can go to? And, you know, be at. He has got to be released, like I said, from something. He needs another little push. That's what it is. You know, when you move, you see what's happening is when you've moved, it's pushing him energetically towards the reconnection, right? Towards this destined moment that is there where you reconnect. Because you're energetically connected, you see, and how he feels is very dependent on how you act. Not so much on how you feel right now, which is because you're through a lot of this process, right? So it's no longer about how you feel that's making him change. It's about how you act. So what you do, how you create, what you do in your physical life. There's an element here of detachment as well, right? So you've got an underlying truth that you're going to reconnect and that there is a destined moment and it's going to happen when it's meant to happen. So where you've got you, right, can you just take that as read, right, and fact, and stop questioning it? Because if you can, and just detach from it, then you will get closer to where you want to be, right? There's an element of detachment that needs to be coming in towards, like, whether, you know, you are connected, right? Like I say, it's not your feelings anymore that are changing him, it's your actions, which means that when you're feeling about him, it is what it is, right? But it's not having much of an effect one way or another on what he's doing. You're past that stage. Where you're at, in, like I say, it's about what you do in your physical world that's going to have an effect. So I'll get movement to another place. I get it being a push for him, right? When you do that he's going to pick up on it through you energetically. That's going to bring him into more self-worth, because he still needs to get into more self-worth. But you haven't got far to go. So it's not like, your question is like, what's his feelings, what's his intentions? But the thing is, when you've got these energetic connections, it's not really about that, because it's not on a conscious level. Do you know what I mean? His conscious mind doesn't have it isn't in control of this. Ultimately, it is a destined moment, and it's ordained by God when it's meant to happen. So, you know, it's not like, oh, is he going to do this or is he going to do that, or how does he feel about it? It has no bearings on what's going on between you. The only thing that is that's going on here is something very energetic. So you've got to trust that, right? And you've got to it says here you've got to get. It says here, right? We've got this really good place for you in the middle of the reading. 10 of Cups and good, which is good, about somewhere where you can create a relationship. So I'm feeling like maybe there's somewhere where you've got friends or family. I feel like it's somewhere that could be quite hot, sunny. I'm not sure if it is the desert. I'm not getting the desert particularly. I'm just getting somewhere that's quite suburban as well, but a nice place, like quite a happy, you know, a happy place, where people are kind of like a good place to be, good standard of living, good economically good. I'm getting motorways as well around it, so I think it's a city, a suburb of a city. This could be the place. Right. Apart from that, you know, it's kind of like, well, it's all on track. So I've got destined moment here, destined by God, destiny in God. And I've got this like healing that still needs to occur for movement to occur, right? And the movement and the healing, and it's all kind of one thing. Your connection itself and negative energy going out of that. And then we've got the choice, right? So him moving forward, and we've got negative energy going out on that as well. So that's going to happen when the negative energy is all been kicked out, basically, of this connection, right? It's all the negativity has got to be cleared out first. And that is, some of that is coming from your, like, doubt. So we've got here patience and commitment. I mean, I think you're possibly a bit like I was when I got back from my travels, and I thought, well, where is it then? I've done everything. But it still wasn't time. And the reason is, you see, look, self-worth on this connection that you've got. The fish are about self-worth. So he needs to get more self-worth. And then there's the creation here. You've got 2 3s, you've got that 3, and you've got that 3. And one is high vibration and the other is creation. So one is like, the two things are very, very similar actually. Because when you're creating, you're automatically in a high vibration. As long as your mind is not on him and your mind is not worrying about him, that's where that's where you get into the low vibration, you see. Where you get into the worry and the wonder and the, you know, wondering. Let's just pull a few more cards and see what it says. Let's see what's going on with him. And it didn't show me, but you know, because like I said, it's like an energetic. It's an energetic procedure. It's not a conscious procedure on his part. What he does in regard to this, your happiness and your stability are really important to how his mind is going to work, and if him being pulled towards communicating with you, right? Got the Empress. This is like your creativity, and then him being drawn towards you when you're in a really kind of stable, high vibrational, creative place within yourself is what it's all about. Let's see. Oh, there's something coming. What's this? Right, him holding back. Let's see what else. You know, I'm not wondering if it isn't. It feels like LA, to be quite honest. Is that a feature for you at all? It feels like a suburb, like there, around there, that you're going to end up at, something like that. Worry, him, communication, blocking, you, movement, work, him, you and him, right. So there's mastery here. We're talking about like a completion of a process, you becoming really strong. We've got strength underlying, and then we've got you as a Queen of Pentacles. You're not in the right place yet, sorry to say. Where's this thing? Have I paused it? Have I? No. You've got to be in a different place physically. See, you, and then him jumping out, him holding back because you're not in the right place yet. At the end of this, we've got him manifesting into the physical, right? But you've also got here, above and below you, you've got his ego self and you've got his truth, right? So, and 3 4s. 4s are mastery. 4 4s, actually. 4 4 4 4 4 4. Wow. So it's kind of like you've got to master your masculine energy, right? This is strength is saying that as well. 8 4s again. 2 4s. So it's like you've got to find the place, go to the place that you're meant to be existing in physically, and then I feel like you just have to wait, really, once you're there. And what you've got to do once you're there is just be very creative in whatever way, right? So it's not about you don't have to do anything particularly creative. You just have to do things. You know, maybe it's like the actual act of setting up a house and decorate, you know, putting the furniture in it and all that kind of stuff. Setting yourself up somewhere with a place to live again, right? Somewhere where you can be a bit stable, because there's a stability here as well, right? You've got to be in that place. You've got to be stably there before he's going to be able to be allowed to come back. So if you can go there now, they're saying in the 8 of Wands, we've got 2 8s there, look. So that's it, really. You've got to go somewhere else now. Get to a place, set it up, wait there, relationship. We've got communication here, you see, the Ace of Swords, and then we've got work, but the work, so it means the work's not over, really. That communication that you want, your work's not over. That's why it's not come in, but it will come in. He will manifest. And like we said before, you know, you doing this, right? You are leading the way to a new beginning, basically, for you both, which you are not at the point yet where you can have it. But it will happen when you're at that point, basically. His truth will come out, is what they're saying. So But there's work that has to be finished before he can open up and get into that place. So that's really what they want you to know. It's just not quite there yet, but it's on its way. Got him coming home here at the end, you know. Again, this is upside down, this card of home, so it's kind of like your place isn't, the place isn't, you're not in the right place yet, physically. So where are you guided to? That movement has to occur again. Are you feeling like you're being pushed somewhere? I mean, that's what all I can say is it like feels like a suburb of LA. I don't know how you feel about that. I'm getting the sea as well. Got the sea nearby. So California. That's what I've got. That's what they just said. California. That's what it is. Let me know what you think to that, won't you? That's all I can tell you, really. Because until you get there, you see, it's not going to be the right time. And you've got this other stage that you've got to go through before he's going to be allowed back, before he can come back and speak his truth. But he will speak his truth. You've got to like believe that and trust it. Should we just see if there's anything else? You know, every time you do something as well that's like creative, so that includes the moving, and it includes you, everything, just getting up in the morning and putting some clothes on and keeping going, you know, and keeping your head above water and not worrying and not stressing. All that is feeding him energetically. You know, there's like an energetic purpose to what you're going through that is completely beyond you and him, but ultimately is leading back to you and him, right? And they're saying you're doing really good work and that you have achieved a lot already, so you're not to give up now and not to worry. Anything else, Tracy? He's all right, actually, Tracy. I feel he's all right. You know, he's getting to a place where he can accept the truth. You see, the reason he's been holding back isn't because he doesn't feel anything for you. It's just completely because he's been blocking his emotions, right? And he's been fighting himself. Not to say there isn't like influences around him that have been affecting that, but where he comes back to the truth is where he's going to be completely, you know, only listening to his own heart and only listening to his own truth. And that takes an incredible amount of self-worth for him to do that, that goes beyond his conscious ability, right? This is where your connection comes in. Because it's you having all this self-worth and doing these things in the physical world that are kicking into his energy body and giving him the ability to have that self-worth. Right? Every choice you make, is what they're saying, is a step forward. right? So every choice you make towards going towards, you know, whatever it is that you feel is divinely guided, is following your heart, is freeing yourself from your old life, freeing yourself from your old state of being, is moving forward. Also, there's a lot here of like you just energetically stepping forward with faith as well. Because we know when you're going to hear from him, it's about him having faith. And it's about him just being completely like, oh, hell, you know, what the hell? Let's do it and see what happens, right? And that is the energy you're in, and you've got to stay in for that to happen with him, right? You've got to use your power as well around your own thoughts. So don't start to question things, because every time you question things in your head, like you're bringing in that energy of questioning, and that's when he starts to question, oh, am I going to do, will I be doing the right thing? Maybe you shouldn't do that. You know, you need to keep your energy free around your thoughts and just move forward. Two of Pentacles again, it's coming back in. New beginning, Ace of Pentacles, it's coming back in. God, you know, he's going to have a moment, basically, where he's just going to go, what the hell? What the hell? I'm going to, like, contact her now. And that moment will be when you are completely resonating at this energy of, well, look, like it's reunion energy. It's the energy where you're like, you're ready for it as well. And you're going to be able to handle it. And the creation that we're talking about, you creating in every moment is what gets you into that right energy. Because it means that when it happens, which it will happen, right? You'll be able to handle it just like you've handled everything else in your life recently. Because you're very different now to how you were a year and a half ago. And you've handled a lot more since that time, right? And it's really changed you. And it means that when he, you know, one more step, one more change, you'll be ready. And then when you're ready, he'll be ready. Right? And you'll be ready to handle it when it comes in. And you won't be dealing with it in the way that you might have dealt with it a year and a half ago. Right? Which might have been like talking about all the old stuff and dragging you both through a lot of dirt, basically. So that's what we're going to say, right? It's coming back. It's just a matter of time, and that's what you have to do. And it's not around, you know, as far as, you know, he thinks about you a lot, I'll say that, right? He thinks about you, he has feelings for you, the love is there. But he's just not quite able to see his way forward yet. So the more you know, another process, you need to go through one more process of creation, and then it'll find his way forward through that, through you helping him by doing that and making it happen. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Lots of love. Bye.